are you?
Enjoying another conference.
Yeah, they never stop, right?
No, seems like it's one after the other. Summer it stops and then nothing else.
Then
it's constant.
It's a little break time there. Yeah. But we're back on the circuit here. So tell us, I guess, how has Edge been going for you guys?
It's been interesting. We exhibited here. We're at booth 534. Not as much traffic as we would have hoped. I know a lot of the people are in the educational stuff upstairs, but still made some great contacts, especially potential customers, but also on the vendor side, which has been great for us. Just trying to build our network. So it's been it's been a success overall, and we're happy we were here.
Good, absolutely, and it's good to have you here too, so you could join us, of course, right?
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about BWS for people that are not familiar.
Yeah, BWS, we've been around for about 5 years. We're a 3PL. One of our core commodities we work with is alcoholic beverages. It's something that I have personally a lot of experience with, worked for a forwarder that specialized in that previously, and an importer.
Yeah.
And then we also work a lot in trade show, actually freight as well. And, we do, your normal domestic transportation, van, reefer, flatbed, and then also a lot of port and ramp drayage.
Okay.
And then if somebody needs a warehouse for 6 months, we'll find that for them and manage that for them too through our big partner network.
Okay.
So
very cool. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about. Let's talk a little bit about the beer, wine, and spirits, right? Which was the BWS before, right? But now it's bringing winning service. Right? I love the update. But tell us about some of the challenges there, because I think that's something. I was talking to somebody actually this morning about that, and they were saying it's hard to find people that can do that because it's regulations and things like that. I mean, tell us some of the challenges there.
Yeah, even more on the wine and spirit side rather than the beer side. You have every state is kind of its own country regulation-wise, so they all are a little bit different. And you need a partner that knows how to manage that system and how to operate within it.
Right.
So then we can find the proper capacity, whether it be warehouse or transportation, to be able to handle that. And then also when you talk about transportation, especially having the right carrier whose drivers for whatever reason religious beliefs might not want to handle it, or the carrier their insurance won't accept that they're handling that commodity. So it really is. There's multiple steps to it, and a lot of people just don't want to go through the hassle of it. Yeah. But we love it. Like I said, it's something that we've been passionate about for forever, just in general, just because of how I grew up in the business and a few of our other colleagues. But on the warehousing side, it's sort of the same thing. You got to make sure you're, if it's the state requires permitting, and then some alcoholic beverages require temp control, but not refrigeration. So you got to be in that 55 to 65 range.
Like that nice range
especially
there,
on the wine side. A lot of distributors require that it's temp control, so you have to be kind of in that 55 to 65 degree range. And also that it doesn't fluctuate, especially on the wine side. Wine is very temperamental when it takes in huge temperature fluctuations. Yeah. So even if you're at 75 the whole time on a red wine, it's still going to be okay getting from point A to point B. But if it goes from 75 up to 95, down to 55, a lot of the chemistry within the wine breaks down, and then it speeds up the process of turning it to vinegar, basically.
Interesting.
So
I mean, in that sense, like if you're, I don't know, shipping something from where you guys are based out in the Chicago area, right?
Yeah, our corporate office in Chicago, but we're all over the country.
Yeah, so I mean, for example, like you're shipping something from there where, the temperature is moderate, sometimes freezing, right? Very cold there. But you're coming down to like here, like Florida, where you would have a temperature spike like that. I mean, do you have to leverage like a reefer truck to be able to maintain that integrity?
Yeah, a lot of them, especially when we're going from the northern states down to the southern or cross country, depending on the time of year, you either absolutely need refrigerated service, which again, it'll keep it right around 55 to 60 degrees, or some of our customers are okay with thermal blankets that you lay across the entire load.
Yeah.
It does keep the temperature a little bit more steady, which is good. But there is potential if for whatever reason the truck breaks down or something and it's stuck in a place for 3 or 4 days, it can, it can become a problem for the product because it is perishable.
Interesting.
But especially on the intermodal side, a lot of our customers who are distributors and wholesalers and importers, they're okay with thermal blankets because for most of the time the train is moving. Even when it gets to Chicago, it's just that cross town, whether it's rubber wheel or steel wheel, and then it goes on to whether New Jersey or Pennsylvania or maybe even down south. But and then in the fall and the spring, we get a lot of people, because the temperatures are so much more moderate, like you said, they are okay with dry service, especially with the vibration in the trailer. Again, tends to keep whatever the temperature was. It tends to keep it pretty close within where it got loaded.
So you said the vibration in the trailer, so that has an effect on the temperature?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so a bunch of people have done some stuff on that where they'll put temp recorders in, especially in the fall, and watch how, let's say it was in New Jersey, it loaded out, it was 65 degrees when it loaded out.
Yeah.
And then by the time it gets to whether it's Chicago or Kansas City or whatever for those couple of days, even though the driver had to take his hours because it was a solo trip, they'll show that it maybe dipped down to like 58, at most.
Interesting.
And didn't go up above 67, 68. So it's keeping a nice range where the wine won't get too temperamental on that. And different wines may, and spirits not so much because the alcohol level is so much higher that it doesn't really matter if it's in dry or not. But wine especially, and if it's white wine, it's very different. You need to be much more careful with white wine rather than red wine. Red wines tend to be a bit more have a bit more body to it. So these are the things that we help our customers manage on a day-to-day basis with this type of commodity. And like I said, it's something we have ample experience in, so we're always happy to help out with that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very interesting to see kind of those nuances, I think, like within certain industries, like from a logistics perspective, because, you think about like, it's just boxes we're moving, right? But like, what's inside that box, right? There's intricacies to that need to be managed and understood. So it's great to have that focus and somebody that has like that specific handle on everything that's required around that. But tell us a little bit about kind of the other side of the business too, and some of the other things you do, and maybe some of the challenges that you're seeing from customers and how you're able to address those.
Yeah, I mean, we do a whole bunch of different types of transportation, but as everybody knows, volumes domestically are down, and they're even further down import-wise. So we do about half of our business is dray work. We work with forwarders, shippers to bring in their product from overseas, and we pick them up at the port. We do the port-to-door service for that. And what we see, especially from the customers, is after 2 years of getting beat up every day on pricing because there just wasn't enough capacity for to deal with all the supply chain disruption volumes that came in kind of all at once over that time. They're sort of flipped onto the other side, so it's now the carriers taking the pain. And I would say we always say to our customers too, is like, we get it, we want you to be competitive, especially if we're one of our forwarder customers that we deal with, but don't go too far, because these guys we're going to need again when the market tightens back up, and we don't want to, we don't want to, have someone, basically get upset over $15 or $25 on a shipment. But it's just that time. The market's completely flipped around, and now everybody's fighting for their lives in a lot of ways, especially ones that focus specifically on dray. It's a struggle for them because LA is down 30% from last year. Savannah and Houston are down year over year 35%. I mean, there's a lot of different dray companies especially struggling right now. So we're trying to continue to support them as best as we can, while giving the customers, trying to be competitive for our customers where we need to be. So we're open and honest on both ends, just to make sure everybody understands the what's kind of happening and trying to be as transparent as possible.
Yeah, that's the way to be. I mean, that's the way you got to be to create those relationships and foster them for the long term. So, I mean, really interesting stuff talking to you here and BWS. I mean, you guys are at most of the trade shows, right? So where can people see you next?
We will be, Rob Bussey will be at Freight Waves in early November.
Yeah.
And CJ, the other owner of BWS, he's going to be at the DAC conference in Houston, I believe. Is that the next one?
Yeah.
Can't keep track of them all.
Yeah, there's so many, right?
So many coming up all at once.
Definitely.
And and then obviously we'll be running the circuit again in the spring.
Yeah. We'll be partnered up with you a little bit at Manifest too. You guys are gonna move our trade show booth for us, so we appreciate that. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing, and that's been one of the bright spots of our market is trade show, because the trade shows have been really big this year. Lots going on, and that's been one of our bright spots in this kind of little bit of a dark market overall.
Yeah, definitely. So really appreciate you coming by, Craig, and talking to us here and giving us some insight on the shipping side, the trucking side of beer, wines, and spirits. Really interesting to learn about that and all the temperature stuff. So great to see you, and we'll definitely be talking to you soon.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. It was great to be here.
Thanks for coming by. Yeah.